Hello everybody. I wanted to make this video as a mix of sorts between a commentary on this run as a whole and some of my thoughts and feelings about it and what I thought was challenging, and also as a kind of a guide for it for Mountain of Faith, No Miss No Bomb on normal mode run. Let's get into it. Stage 1 is completely trivial at this level. It's just a matter of knowing where to go and killing the fairies before they can shoot anything. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing here, like for the first few minutes of this run, honestly, the first few stages. As you can see, this is all just planned out, routed, I guess. I wouldn't call it I guess it's kind of a route. I got really bored while doing this run, this challenge, so I started implementing really crappy homemade scoring strategies, which is probably an explanation for all the weird stuff I do, like that weird grab there, that weird POC. But yeah, this is all just very trivial. Very camping. This is random, but they don't shoot, so it's whatever. This is all, again, camping. Really, the main challenge here is just getting the full score and not graying any point items. 122k, 0.8 is pretty alright. This spell is just trivial. You can see me timing the cancel just to get more faith. This spell is trivial, honestly. It's just speed killing. This is just more aimed stuff. I wait to cancel again, I time it again. 130 is alright. This spell is also you have to be falling asleep to fail it, which, to be fair, I was a few times, because it's just kind of when you start tilting, you tilt. And the first part of stage 2 is just the same thing, really. It's just knowing where the fairies are gonna spawn and just killing them before they can shoot anything. Same goes for this part before the Hina mid boss. So it's just the positions are all static. So yeah, you just spin around. I didn't kill the first one. I forgot to pause, but I didn't kill it because it reduces faith loss if you have an enemy on screen. So this mid spell is again, it's just move between the walls. Not even walls, just groups of bullets, I guess. Here is just moving left and right. They can be kind of nasty if you exit the mid-non at a weird point. So I have some backup strats in case I can't get into position. But yeah, it's not that hard in any case. This is more speed killing, camping, static pattern. Just these fairies don't even shoot, so it's just whack-a-mole. Now we're on to Hina. First non-spell is static, I'm pretty sure. Those Mentos are aimed, but everything else is static, so you can just kind of get a consistent. This can get a little dicey, but it's not that bad. You just kind of have to read where the bullets are going. They're pretty slow, so you can do it it's not that hard. This spell is trivial again. It's just go in the lane. This spell is static. You just kind of... I usually go to the right and like to make her move the same way every time. But it's very consistent. This spell is just, again, very wide open lanes. They get progressively more messed up, but if you speed kill it, it will never get that bad, honestly. Even if you don't speed kill it, I don't remember it ever being that bad. There's always like a hole to go through. This part's kind of funky because you kind of have to time it so you don't lose a lot of faith. This is actually like a very solid run with it. Yeah, I got like a 5k loss, I guess. This is more speed killing, more camping. Yeah, it's just... then the same principle applies here. This particular way of doing it is pretty consistent in my opinion, but you probably don't even have to do this if you're like not completely bored for score. But yeah, this strat works for me, where I just kill most of the pack, then move on to the other side. You saw the motion. More speed killing. Hey Notori, bye Notori. More whack-a-mole. These fairies don't shoot. Hi Notori. This is not hard, it's just wide open lanes again. The red bullets aren't that much of an issue. Unless you like get walled somehow. Like, don't do that probably. Don't go in between the lanes. This part is static, I'm pretty sure. It's just kill the big fairies. You really want to learn where these spinning enemies like move, because they can get kind of nasty if you let them pile up, but if you just sit on top of where they spawn, they're really not an issue. I'll let like these items fall down so I can lose less faith. I was really bored, if you can't tell. Then there's Boss Notori. This non-spell is it's easy, just don't go in the lanes with the Mentos, and that's it. Ooze Flooding is free. It's just go between the lanes and move from the aimed Mentos. That's it. This non is more of the same, just don't go where the Mentos are. This spell can be kind of tricky, but it's not that bad. Usually, like, the holes are pretty large and you can maneuver around it. It can, like, the biggest problem with it is honestly, like, it sometimes just doesn't die. Like, Notori decides to move, and that's kind of scary. Now, this spell, on the other hand, is really scary, honestly, in my opinion. It really shouldn't be. I like, it's not even that bad of a spell, but I don't know, it's very scary. Like, maybe it just depends on the person, but those weird crisscrossing lasers that overlap are just they kind of short circuit my brain. It was one of my first roadblocks when I started doing these attempts, but you just kind of have to learn how to do it, like how to read it better. There's like no way to cheese it, unfortunately. This is it's not that bad. I'll talk more about like this kind of section, because there's another longer one after Momiji, but it's pretty much just moving in like not quite a figure eight, but something similar. This is all just aimed. You can probably just like stream it. I was being kind of funny because I wanted to score. More random spam there, and now there's these fairies. You really want to speed kill these. They can get really nasty if you let them live. Especially this part, like right before Momiji. Especially in this transition here, yeah. Momiji isn't... she's like one of the first real roadblocks, I guess. Like, so these... she shoots two types of bullets. She shoots these this rice. The rice forms like it forms lanes, sorta, but they aren't always tidy. If especially if you're just bottom hugging, you might want to move a little bit up or down. But they're like sometimes they can be kind of nasty. Uh, but sometimes they're just really neat too. Like here, you can see, yeah, this you can see how they move. These Mentos, like these circles of them, they are aimed around you, so just don't move too much. I guess don't move too far to the sides. Like don't move too far from Omiji. As you can just see, like the bullets kind of like open up to form lanes. Here I do this kind of, you can see, it's not quite a figure eight, but it's similar. Like it's just, if you learn like just that motion, it'll be very consistent. More streaming. Apologies for all the sounds. I'm just, my throat is a bit sore. You should speed kill these fairies as soon as possible. Just don't let them live. Hopefully you can dash down there. You really don't want them to overlap ever. And then there's these crows. I've never died to them. Like, they look kind of intimidating, but it's not that bad. The bullets aren't that fast for the most part. And yeah, you can just kind of you can find a way through it. It's never really been a problem for me. This boss is horrible. It's probably like the single biggest bottleneck of the run. Like it's killed, like just the first spell has taken so many lives. This first nun, however, is just static. She just always moves pretty much the same way and shoots the same pattern. You can just go between the bullets, like in the circles. This spell is awful. So, an interesting thing about this spell is you could technically just safe spot it. There's a safe spot, like around this cloud, like around here. You can just kind of sit in the corner here and just avoid very few bullets. And the downside is you have to time it out. You can't really full spell you can't like get a full spell clear. You just time this out. But that's kind of lame. I didn't want to do that, so I instead struggled to do it legitimately. What I do is like I kind of stay like in this general area. And then if the bullets are threatening, I just go down until there's a hole. You really don't want to stay at the bottom because you'll just get destroyed. I don't like the hitboxes on these bullets. They're kind of bad. But this spell is it's just a nerves check at this point. It's not hard. Sometimes she moves away and that's kind of annoying, but it's not threatening. This spell is a matter of finding a lane and just going through where the lane is widest. So you may have to push up a little bit as the wave goes on, but it's usually not super bad. It can sometimes give you kind of weird patterns, in which case you may have to forge your own way and be careful, but you know, it's not the worst. This timeout is just a matter of finding where the most free space is. It's usually not that bad. Most of my deaths were just early attempts before I knew how to do it, but it's really not that bad. This spell is free. It's just go between the bullets. I died once to it. I was tired. And that's Aya. I hate this boss fight. It's horrible. I really think that she's the worst part of this whole challenge. Like, really, I don't think Kanako is even that bad. compared to her. Stage 5, most of it is just a route again. Like, you can just very easily figure out what to do. It's mostly just aimed. So yeah, that first part is aimed. This part you just speed kill these big fairies until the little aimed fairies, like the bullet fairies that shoot aimed bullets, arrive, and then just move to the side, do a wide motion, and then move in the other direction for these yellow bullet fairies. Then there's more of the same, pretty much. Just move to the side, stream it. Just be careful not to get walled, because yeah, those blue bullets are pretty wallish. This part is not that hard. It's just go through the big hole, stay at the bottom, let the bullets go over you. The pink shouldn't even reach you. I kind of did a weird movement there. Probably could have just stayed at the bottom. This spell is static, except Sine's movement. So just learn how to do it, I guess. It's just not that hard, honestly, especially if you got a ready move hitbox. It's just micro dodging, I guess. This is just more aimed. I don't like going like the entire way here. I just like prefer moving like to the middle of the screen and back, I guess. This part is just more lanes, and then there's a combination of these fairies that like make these rows of bullets, columns, and these fairies that shoot aimed bullets. So you can just kind of move from one side to the other to keep the yellow row fairies at bay, and just stream the rest. This first non is just go through the big holes that appear on the stars move. Yeah, it usually doesn't get too bad, but sometimes these like blue bullets can wall. You just kind of have to find a way around them. This first spell is static. You can just kind of learn how to do it. The fireballs are aimed, but if you have a strat, you can just make them move the exact same every time. It's really not a problem. This non is just go through the big holes. This spell is just streaming followed by what the hell was that? It's just streaming followed by moving, just dashing to where there's a big opening in the wave, like where the wave is moving away. And yeah, you can see it's pretty consistent. It's just streaming. This non can get a little ugly if she moves, but it's just zigzagging for the most part. This spell is static, I'm pretty sure, or it's like nearly static. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, you can just kind of, you can do a few dodges and it dies very quickly. God's Wind. This spell is trivial. I'm not sure what was up with this game and the final spells being trivial. You just go in the lane and don't get hit by the Mentos. There's usually space. I died once to it. Ignore that. Just camp these not fairies, like spinning enemies. It's, yeah. This part is completely aimed. You can just sit and barely move. It looks intimidating, but a few button presses will do. You might have to do a little bit of an adjustment for this fairy, but it's just one bullet, really. It's not that hard. Then there's just more streaming, and then go back to the center, and stream towards the center again. And then another death fairy will come, and just you can stay within the lanes at first, and then move up, and it shouldn't be that bad. Usually there's pretty big holes. And would you look at that? We're at the final boss. Yeah, Kaneko has a few stinkers. This first non is not that hard. It's just it's raw dodging, but it's not super fast. You can read it. First spell is trivial. It's just move to the side, stay as close to the side as you can when you have to move to the center, and the amulets won't be a problem at all. Just move to the side, go to the center, like stay at the side of the center, move to the other side, and then repeat until she dies. This non is just move to the right, move to the left, move to the right, move to the left. This spell has jank hitboxes. It sucks. I say it sucks. It's not that hard. You learn how the bullets move with time. It's not terrible, but it's kind of anxiety-inducing because of the bugged hitbox. Just stay away from those bullets as much as you can. I probably shouldn't be allowed to talk about this spell. This strategy is... I don't know. Don't ask me. It just works. I don't know why. This is probably not a smart way to do this. It's mostly consistent for me, though. Like, I got a pretty bad clear rate, but a lot of this is also just... a lot of it was nerves on the final few runs. Like, I literally didn't die to it once before I got to Konako on no miss pace. At which point I died to this spell like 2 or 3 times. This non is just annoying, really. It's not hard. It's just aimed, and static, I think. Or like, almost static. This spell requires a bit of planning. I always like try to stick around below Konako and then move to the side, move a little bit down, try to shoot Konako until an opening in the red bullets shows up, at which point just shoot, an opening in the purple bullets should show up, and repeat. Not repeat even, it just ends here. Sometimes you might have to do an extra wave, which kind of sucks, but it's not super bad. I've never died once to this spell, to be honest. The history says 9 out of 11, but 2 of those were from my first 1cc and my first clear of the game in general. So I literally haven't died to this spell once. But yeah, it's just move out of the way of the walls. I wouldn't recommend going like between the individual bullets. I don't think that's really necessary for normal mode. Like, the spell is pretty slow compared to the lunatic version. But yeah, that's it, really. So yeah, that's the run. For context, like, I would say I'm a pretty good, like, normal mode player. Like, I've beaten most of the games, like, within a day of, like, trying them. I haven't been playing the Toho games for too long, but I'd say I'm decent at them, I guess. So, this challenge, like, I went into it thinking it was going to be much harder than I thought. Then I quickly whittled down the result to, like, the first day went like 5 miss, then the second day was a 4 or 3 miss, and then a few days later I got a 2 miss, and then a few days later I got 1 miss, and I was like, oh wait, this is actually that bad. I think I could get like a no miss pretty quickly. And then getting that final push to get the no miss took almost a month. Like, I started this on like the 20th. I'm not actually sure when I started. I started in late July and I ended like a few days ago, so like mid-August. So it really was just a lot of the challenge was just fatigue, honestly. Like, I think if you gave me this challenge, like if you allowed me to play my full performance, I think I would beat it very quickly. But it's just very fatiguing. It's very exhausting to play this after a while because you'll get a good run in and you'll die and you'll lose all confidence and then you'll start like doing funny mistakes in stage 2 and then you just start tilting and then it's just over for the day. You can't really progress anymore. It really is just like a matter of mental strength at the end of the day. Like, in my opinion, like, I can't even begin to like comprehend what it must be like to do a lunatic run because this is just normal mode. This is probably like super consistent. You could probably like beat it in a few tries if you're a lunatic player, but it was just very exhausting. I'm probably not gonna do any more of these for for some time. But yeah, that's all I got really. Right, so I wanted to jump back into the game real quick, just for some extra information, I guess. So first off, my replays. My first 1cc was literally my second attempt at the game. And then you can see my progress. So I got, this is actually a 5 miss. I miscounted. And then I got a 4 miss the next day. And then a 3 miss. This is also mislabeled. I'm so sorry. Then I got a real 2 miss a few days later, and the real 1 miss a few more days later after that. After that, I just kind of hit a plateau, and I kept getting more 1 misses. Some of these were really stupid. Like, I think the first one was up to... I think the first 1 miss was to Moses. The second one was to Conoco Ferdinand. I don't know why, sorry. I don't remember exactly what these were. I think both of these were Hunting Shrine Ritual. And then the Nova Snowball. Aside from that, I also wanted to show my game data. So, yeah, it's like pretty good score. I don't know how much that is in like professional terms. Right, so these are all my stats, so maybe I'll just give a few comments on them. So, False Sign Autumn Sky. I died, it says I died to it once. I didn't die to it, I just quit it after I died to the Midnon because I was being funny with the scoring. Owatashi Harvester, I have a few deaths there. Again, it's just I was really tilting and I just kind of was tired and whatever. The same kind of goes for all of these first few, like everything in the first 2 stages for sure. I think that optical camouflage death was like my first ever run of the game because I was blind to it. Ooze flooding, I think I died to it 2 times when I was starting to do this no miss, no bomb challenge because I forgot what the gimmick was. The gimmick is, I went too far up, which is a really bad idea. You can see I've got some deaths on Campus Pororoca. Again, it's not that bad, it's just 9 deaths in the grand scheme of things. Monster Cucumber is already a bit of a bit of like, what is that, like, it's not quite 80%, but it's not 100% consistent. It's kind of tricky. Most of those deaths were early on, but still, it's a little bit scary. Crossroads sign, Crossroads of Heaven. My bane, I hate it. I hate it. It's the bane of my existence. It's just the worst spell. I'm sorry. Really, all of the IS spells aside from the last one are kind of poopy. Illusionary Dominance, I mostly died to it early on. I didn't really die too much to it, like, after a certain point. In fact, like, Wind God's Leaf Veiling went for an opposite thing where like I didn't die to it at all for the first few like the first attempts, and then afterwards I started like I don't know. I had like a weird depth to it, and then I just started doubting myself, and that kind of spiraled out of control. The Sine spells are just like me forgetting to do the strat, I guess. At this point though, like my first 2 runs start eating into this statistics, so I look a little bit worse than I really am. Like I'm pretty sure that especially for like the Conoco spells, like I think all of those deaths were just me and experimenting when I was first starting playing the game. Rice Porridge is a bit tricky. You can see like the clear rate on that one is a bit rough. The same goes for Misayama Hunting Shrine Ritual, like, but those deaths were mostly like when I was first learning the spell, and then when the time came to it that I had to no miss no bomb. Yeah. Miracle of a Tensui, it's like 2 of those were from my 1cc and my first clear, but then I also died 3 times to it, like the strategy is pretty sound, but it's not 100% secure. It's not 100% consistent. Like the hitboxes on those bullets are also glitched, just like in Rice Porridge. So it's kind of funky. Mountain of Faith, this is just my first 1cc, I panic bombed. My first clear, I panic bombed. I have never died to this spell. It's surprisingly easy. But yeah, that's it. I have played this game too much.